Hi, everyone. Well, it turns out that there was a mistake, and many of our classmates missed class due to some sort of clerical error in the calendar. So I wanted to touch base and say hi if you missed class today on Monday. That's okay. I got your back, and I understand that it was due to something out of your control, and I'm not blaming you for being a bad student. So I wanted to say hi, introduce myself, and go over some of the really top things that we went over in class today. And also, we did a little bit of lecture today, and I wanted to go over that so that you're feeling caught up when you get to class on Wednesday. So first of all, my name is Kara Tierney. Tier, and then a knee on my leg. Um, and Chem 100 is a class that it sparks a little bit of anxiety in some people because this may be your first time taking chemistry class, or this might be a second time and it didn't go well. And so I just want you to know that you are now on Team Tierney, and we're going to have a good semester. And I believe that all students can do well in chemistry. I believe that you are capable of learning chemistry, and we're here to support each other in our class. So today we went over a few documents. Let me grab the first one. So we went over the course information sheet, and this is on the Brightspace if you want to check it out. I will hand you a copy. I'd like you, if you did not attend class on Monday, I'd like you to read through it and bring your questions on Wednesday, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Some highlights are take a look at the office hours. As well as communication, email me, or I do have texting available for students who prefer texting. Take a look at the course materials and make sure that you have the materials listed right here on page 3. If you have any questions about those materials, feel free to ask. I'd like you to just look through, and I'd like to really let you know that homework is the key to this class. All right, getting through, it is crucial that you keep up with the homework for a number of reasons. It's going to give you the practice that you need in order to get things ingrained in your brain. The homework is worth 5% of your grade, and how you're going to be assigned your homework is as you're working through the course packet. So in class, we'll be doing PowerPoints, and these PowerPoints correspond with the lecture notes that are in the course packet. Now this one's purple. This was from the fall. I believe they're gray this semester. It looks like this. You can get it from the bookstore. You have your lecture notes, your lab manual, and practice exams are all in this course packet. We started our chapter 1 notes today, and we're going to do that in this video. So we're going to go through. When we get to the end of a section, that is your homework, and you're going to do that in a notebook. It's physical homework. You will be turning it into me on a piece of paper. This homework is at the end of the section, and the answers are in the end of the chapter. So you can check your answers to make sure that you're understanding what you're doing. That is crucial. Just writing down answers, and if you don't understand why the answer is what it is, it's not going to help you progress to the next assignment. So every week you're going to be assigned homework. In lab class, that homework you will be allowed to use to take your quiz. So every lab class will start with a quiz. You can use your homework to do that quiz, and then you turn in your homework and your quiz at the same time. So that's kind of an introduction into our first assignments. Today, we did finish section 1.2, and so students are getting started on those first 2 problems. That's going to be due next week, so a week from Wednesday. The second handout I had from today has all of the due dates for the entire semester, all of your homework, all of your quiz, all of your exams. So put them in your calendar now so you're ready. I recommend that you do the homework before the due date so that you're ready to go, and it also gives you time to remember it. If you wait too long to do the homework, sometimes it's easy to forget what we did in class. So the homework is the really crucial part that I wanted to talk about on our first day of class. Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to be going over the lab safety policy on Wednesday. We meet twice a week at 11 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday. That's our lecture time. And then Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m., that is our lab time. And that is going to be a 3-hour session. We do a combination of lecture and lab, oftentimes mostly lab activities. Please schedule your work, childcare, whatever you have. Anticipate that we will use up that entire class time, which goes till 3:50 on Wednesdays. So that's kind of an introduction to the class itself, nitty-gritty. Let me know if you have any questions when you come in on Wednesday. I also wanted to just go through the lecture that we did so that you're not feeling totally lost. All right, so I'm going to share my screen right now. This is our chapter 1 notes. I do post my PowerPoint notes up to Brightspace, and then the guided notes in your course packet, they line up with this. So for example, your first line in the notes on your chapter 1, it gives you the study of the composition, properties, and reactions of matter is, and then you have to plug in the vocabulary term, chemistry. That's the very first blank in your notes. And this is our very first definition because it is the title of our course. We are learning about chemistry. So we're going to be talking about how matter is formed, what it's formed from, how it reacts with each other, what is a reaction. We're going to be going over all those basics in this class. I do not assume that you are coming in with any previous chemistry knowledge when I teach this course. So our first section where we really got into applications and practicing was with section 1.2. That is the scientific method. So we went over some vocabulary. We learned today, we talked about the scientific method itself. And so this is your second blank. The scientific method is a way to learn about the natural world using a logical series of small steps. That's a lot of S words. And so we went through some, you're going to fill in these blanks. We learned that the first step was taking observations. We're going to be doing that a lot in this class. Making a hypothesis, which is a first guess or a first explanation to explain that observation. That hypothesis then is tested using an experiment. And once we do our experimentation and we can start to figure out what's happening, we draw conclusions. And so conclusions in theory, that's kind of the same thing. That's our last term. So what I'd like to do is go through our first example. This example is very similar to the homework that's being assigned for this section, where we learned about the scientific method and talking about my cat Pelly and her digestive issues. So there are 4 steps here in the scientific method, and we went through together as a group, assigning each one. I'm going to go through how we kind of thought about these together. I'm going to be doing a little highlighting as well. So in A, the statement is, I think Pelly may be allergic to treats. And the key terms here are think and may. Think and may. Those are telling me they're kind of wishy-washy words. That means I'm just taking a guess. And a guess is known as a hypothesis. In B, we have a few statements here, a couple sentences. Over the course of a week, I give Pelly chicken treats on 3 days and tuna treats on the other days. She only throws up after eating the chicken treats. So this is a series of actions that I took to test what I think is going on. That is an experiment. So hypothesis, we see these wishy-washy words. Experiment, I see actions. I have things that I'm actually doing. And C, it simply says Pelly throws up a lot. If there is nothing trying to explain anything, if it's just a statement of a measurement or something you see, that is an observation. And lastly, according to my data, Pelly is allergic to chicken treats, but not tuna treats. This right here, this phrase, according to my data, is the giveaway. If you see a reference to data, experimentation, that means if it's based on what we've seen and what we've tested, that is a conclusion. So you're going to do a couple problems like this in your homework. These are on page 5 of your textbook. These are the practice problems at the end of this section. That is what our homework is. So you're going to read these problems 1.7 and 1.9 on page 5 of your textbook. You can either write down the question and the answer or just the answer. You will have the opportunity to then use that homework when we take a quiz over this material a week from Wednesday. And so a lot of students do choose to write out the question as well as the answers, because sometimes that can be a little more helpful for when you're using this kind of as a guide while you're doing your quiz. We also went over section 1.3, which is in your book, just a review of how to be a successful student and how to use the textbook. My key tips for this class is doing the homework within a day or two of when you see a little box in your guided notes. Do that homework within a day or two. Second tip, make a plan. You're going to be spending about 6 hours outside of class time on this course. It is a time-consuming course. So make a plan for that time, because I know many of my students are very busy and have other courses, other things going on in their life. But honestly, it's that time that is needed for success. When I have students that are not successful in my course, it is typically because of other commitments, other things that come up in life, not that they're not capable, because I truly think that you are capable of learning this. Forming a study group can be a really great option. We're going to have a fairly small class this semester, and I'm hoping we can get to know each other really well. You get comfortable, learn other people's style of learning so you can work together well. There's some highlights of what's in the textbook that can be helpful. At the end of the chapter, there's a few things that you might want to check out. There's a chapter review as well as a vocabulary, just list of all the key terms that are used and in the chapter. One thing I said to the class today is that you are not expected to regurgitate definitions to me. I am not a person who is into memorization unless it's going to be helpful for a very specific reason. So I want to know, can you use the terms? If I use the terms, do you know what I'm talking about? Section 1.4 is a math review. We will be covering this in lab on Wednesday. This covers some math skills that you've seen previously that we'll want to brush up on because we're going to be using them in class shortly. So the homework for section 1.4, I recommend holding off on that since we're going to be reviewing it in class on Wednesday. And then we stopped right there, actually. We only got through sections 1.1 through 1.3 together. So that catches you up to where we are in class. We are starting section 1.5 on Wednesday. And please bring a calculator. One thing you need for this class is a scientific calculator. If you don't have one, this one, and it comes in many colors, this is a very user-friendly calculator. So if you don't have one, this is the one that I recommend right here. It's in your course information sheet. If you already have a scientific calculator, even if you don't know how to use it, I can help you learn how to use it. You don't need to feel like you need to purchase a whole new one. So I think that catches you up a little bit to what happened in class, so you're not feeling as frazzled or lost. We'll take the first 10 minutes or so in class just to reintroduce everyone, since I think over half the class missed on our first day because of whatever snafu happened with the calendar. So if you miss class, that's okay. Come on Wednesday, we'll get you caught up. You'll feel like you're where you need to be by the end of class. All right, so Wednesday we have lecture class at 11, and then we will take a lunch break and we will have a full lab class at 1 o'clock. So do schedule your day around being in class until 4. All right, I look forward to meeting you, and I think we're going to have a great semester together.